Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we are going to do class 9th, subject physics. Topic of today's lectures are 4.8 and 4.9. Actually, 4.8 is a continuation of the previous equilibrium. We will study the state of equilibrium. Then we will study the last topic, which is 4.9, stability and the position of center of mass. This is the last topic of this chapter. So 4.8, states of equilibrium, and these are on page number 100, 101 and 102 pages. Okay. So the first topic is 4.8 is actually the continuation of the topic equilibrium. Today we discussed last time the condition of equilibrium, first condition of equilibrium, and then we studied the second condition of equilibrium. But in this today's topic, we will do states of the equilibrium. There are the three states of the equilibrium. There are the three states of the equilibrium that are as follow: stable equilibrium, then unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. So we have 1, 2, 3. Three states of equilibrium: stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, neutral equilibrium. A body may be in the one of these three states of equilibrium. Our body will be either stable equilibrium, or either unstable equilibrium, or a neutral equilibrium. Our body will be in one of the three states of the equilibrium. Either it will be in stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, or in neutral equilibrium. So you got to remember this. There are the three states of equilibrium: stable equilibrium, unstable equilibrium, and neutral equilibrium. Next, stable equilibrium. What is stable equilibrium? I do the definition for first for you. Read the definition for you. A body is said to be in stable equilibrium. A body is said to be in stable equilibrium if after a slight tilt it returns to its previous position. If you look at the book example, in the first A part, figure A, the book is lying on the table. A book is lying on the table. Next, then in B, figure B, what happened? I just lift this book slightly, tilt this book slightly, and if I release this from here, the book will come back to its original position. This is its original position. First, so a body is said to be in stable equilibrium. So body is in this state is the body is in stable equilibrium. What I am saying, a body is said. What is the definition of stable equilibrium? This is the definition of stable equilibrium, which is mentioned in pink box. If you read the pink box on page number 101 of your textbook, 9th class textbook, you will find this definition. So this definition, stable equilibrium definition, is available on your 9th class book 101, page number 101. A body is said to be in stable equilibrium if after a slight tilt. This is what I'm doing. I'm doing the slight tilt. I'm giving the slight tilt to this book. I'm lifting this book a little bit top. So what will happen if I release this? The book will come back to this state again. First, the book was lying on the table, right? Then I lift it up. Then if I release this, then the book will come to this position again. So if the book comes to this position, or if the body comes to its original position again, this state of equilibrium is called the stable equilibrium. So I'm read the definition. This example is also in your textbook, written on your textbook. I just pointed out, like example number 1. Consider a book lying on the table. Tilt the book slightly about its one edge. This is one edge. This is one edge. This is second edge. So I tilt the book from this edge. So I tilted it from opposite side, this side. This side. It returns to its, if I release this, it returns to its previous position when set free. When set free, if I release this, so then the book will come to its original position. This is its original position. Such a state of the body is called the stable equilibrium. So example of book is the stable equilibrium. Example of the stable equilibrium. Now I am moving towards the more description. If I take the more description, what is happening in this example? Example number one, the example of book. When a body is in stable equilibrium, when the body is in stable equilibrium, its center of gravity is the lowest position. Where is the center of gravity? G stands for center of gravity. So we have already discussed in center of mass. We discussed about center of mass. Then we discussed about in our previous lectures. I discussed about center of gravity and center of mass. If you didn't understand the center of gravity and center of mass, you can consult my previous lecture. So where I gave you the concept of center of gravity and center of mass. So what is happening? This is G stand for center of gravity. So the center of gravity of this book is at this position. This position. Okay. Now, when a body is in a stable equilibrium, its center of gravity is at the lowest position. When it is tilted, its center of gravity rises. So what is happening? When I tilt it, the center of gravity is rising now. The center of gravity is rising now. It returns to its stable state by lowering its center of gravity. A body remains its stable states as long as the center of gravity acts through the base of the body. So this is my base of, if I draw the line from here, this is my base of the body. As long as the body is in the stable equilibrium, so our center of gravity will be as low as possible. Now the next is example number 2. This is also stable equilibrium. Now I am taking another example of stable equilibrium. This is also mentioned in your 9th class textbook. Example number 2, consider a block. This is the block. When the block is tilted, so this is the original position of the block. So our center of gravity, the line is center of gravity is passing through G. This is the center of gravity. G stands for center of gravity. Thus, its center of gravity G rises. If I tilt this, this center of gravity is rises. So the block returns to its previous position when set free. If we set this free, if we release this, first of all we tilt this and then we release this. What will happen? This body will come to its original position again. So this is called this is called the first stable equilibrium. We get the first condition of equilibrium is stable equilibrium. We're talking about stable equilibrium right now. This is the second example of the stable equilibrium. So in A, block is stable equilibrium. This position A, B, and C. There are the three positions of the this figure. So first A, the body is in equilibrium. The body is stable equilibrium. B, if I slightly touch this body and it is slightly tilted block, it returns to its previous position. If I release it from here, it will come back to its original position. A more tilted block topples over its base and does not return to its previous position. So since this line is passing from G and it is still in stable equilibrium, but in this example, look, this line, now this line is this, and but if I further tilt this block, what will happen? This will fall down. This block will fall down and it will never come to its original position. So it will go into another equilibrium. I told you when I started my lecture, the body either is in stable equilibrium, in unstable equilibrium, or in neutral equilibrium. But in this case, if we tilt it further, the body will fall over and the body will never come back to its original position. This is called unstable equilibrium. In this C part, C figure, the body will not come back to its original position. But if I release from here, so this will come back to this position again. So this is the example I discussed about the example of book, which is stable equilibrium. Then I discussed about the other example of stable equilibrium, which is the block. Now, if I talk about unstable, this is my second. I told you there are the three states of the equilibrium. One is stable equilibrium. Now I'm talking about unstable equilibrium. So first of all, I read the definition for you. If a body does not return to its previous position when set free after a slightest tilt. If I suppose this is a pencil, so its center of gravity is, this line is passing through the center of gravity. So this point, if we release this pencil from here, what happened, take a pencil and try to keep it in the vertical position. So this is in a vertical position. On its tip, this is tip. The pencil lead is the tip. The pencil topples over about its tip and fall down. This is called unstable equilibrium. This will never come back to the stable equilibrium. This is not the condition of stable equilibrium, but this is the unstable equilibrium. If a body does not return to its previous position, this is the previous position. This is its original position. But what will happen if I release it here? The pencil will never come back to this position again. It will always topple over. It will always fall over. So this type of equilibrium is called unstable equilibrium. Now I am talking about another example, the third type of equilibrium, which is called a neutral equilibrium. When the body remains in its new position, when disturbed from its previous position, it is said to be in a state of neutral equilibrium. What is going to be happening here? So this is the third type of equilibrium. I told you there are the three types of equilibrium. We discussed about stable equilibrium, in which we discussed about example of book. Then we discussed about the second example of block. So in second we discussed about unstable. This is stable. Example of book and example of block is the type of stable equilibrium. But now I am talking about unstable equilibrium. Unstable equilibrium, we discussed about the example of pencil. If we try to keep the pencil in a vertical position on its tip, if we release this pencil, what will happen? This pencil will never come back to its original position. This state of equilibrium is called unstable equilibrium. Now we discussed about the last one, which is called unstable, which is called neutral equilibrium. When the body remains in its new position, when disturbed from its previous position, it is said to be in a state of neutral equilibrium. So in neutral equilibrium, we have a ball. A ball is placed on a horizontal surface. This ball is placed on a horizontal. This is the horizontal surface, right? This is first position, which is the original position. And this is when we roll it over the surface, what will happen? It will take a new position. After some time, it will take a new position and it will never come back to this position again. This type of equilibrium is called a neutral equilibrium. I discussed the example. When a body remains in its new position, this is the new position. This is the original position where the body was lying before when we started. When we roll over, what will happen? After some time, the body moves from here to here. It is said to be in the state of neutral equilibrium. When the body remains in its new position, this is the new position. When disturbed from its previous position, it is said to be in the state of neutral equilibrium. It is said to be in a neutral equilibrium. Example number 1. Now we take the example. Take a ball and place it on a horizontal surface. Roll the ball over the surface and leave it after displacing from its previous position. This is the previous position. Original position, previous position. It remains its new position. If we roll this ball, what will happen? After some time, it will reach over here. So this is the it will never come back to original position, this position again. This type of equilibrium is called, this is called neutral equilibrium. More example. If we, apart from this, we have so many more examples. A roller is an example of neutral equilibrium. When it rolls and it after some time it will reach another position, new position, it will never come back to the original position or previous position again. This type of equilibrium is called neutral equilibrium. Then a sphere is an example of neutral equilibrium. An egg placed on a horizontal surface or on a smooth horizontal surface, this is also an example that if we roll over, the egg will never come back to its original position. Similarly, pencil lying on the horizontally is also the example of the neutral equilibrium. In neutral equilibrium, what will happen? In neutral equilibrium, all the new states in which body is moved are the stable states. So if the when we roll this, the body will take the new position and it will never come back to its original position again. It will take a new position. That will be also a stable condition. The body will be in neutral equilibrium, but that other position it will be at a new position. All the new states in which body is moved are the stable states, and the body remains in its new states. In this equilibrium, center of gravity of the body remains at the same height.
रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है कि नहीं? अरे पीछे
So more example of neutral equilibriums are a roller, a sphere, egg, and a pencil lying on a horizontally. All are the examples of the neutral equilibrium. In neutral equilibrium, all the new states in which body is moved are stable state. This is a stable state because the body is moving into the next state, and this state will be a stable state. And the body remains in its new state. In this equilibrium, center of gravity of the body remains at the same height. Wherever the body will go, if it takes a new position, that the body will remain, when the body will remain in the same position, its center of gravity will be at the same height because it is moving on the horizontal surface. It is moving on the horizontal surface. It will take the new position, but its center of gravity will remain at the same height. Now, this is end of, we discussed about neutral equilibrium, stable equilibrium, and then we discussed about unstable equilibrium. So this is the end of the three states of the equilibrium which we discussed. We discussed three states: stable equilibrium. We discussed about the example of book and the example of the block. And in unstable equilibrium, we discussed about the example of pencil, which is vertically standing on its tip. And in the third equilibrium, we discussed about the ball rolling on the horizontal surface. It will take a new position, but the center of gravity will be at the same height if it takes a new position. So this is end of this three states of equilibrium. Now we discussed another topic, which is the next topic, which is 4.9. Stability and the position of center of mass. Stability and the position of the center of mass. This is on page number. If you open the book, page number 102, you will 4.9. Under this topic, you will find stability and the position of the center of mass. What is this? So this is the new topic. States of the equilibrium has been finished. So now we have started the new topic, which is 4.9 on page number 102 of your 9th class textbook. Stability and position of center of mass. Position of center of mass plays important role in their stability in our life. We can say position this stability and position of center of mass plays very important role. I told you I have already discussed center of mass, which is called COM, center of mass. In the previous lecture we discussed about center of mass. So in this topic we will see the importance of stability and the center of mass. So what this topic will play a very important role in our in the stability, because all the things are designed based on this principle. When we move further ahead, I will tell you what are the examples based on, what are the practical things based on this principle. So to make objects stable, their center of mass kept as low as possible. If you have ever seen racing cars are designed heavy at the bottom and their height kept minimum so they can prevent from topple over means fall down. So if you see the racing car in the practical life, this is racing car is designed on this keeping the stability and the center of mass in their mind. Whenever the designer design the cars, what they do, they keep the principle of center of mass and stability in their mind. What they do, they keep the height as low as they can. A racing car height is very low. They keep the height low as low as they possible, and they make the bottom part of the cars bottom part of the cars at a minimum height, and or they make the uh, bottom part of the cars heavy. They made the bottom part of the car heavy, and they keep the height of the racing car very low. Why they keep this is because they, so that the racing car, when you know the racing car runs very fast, so if they runs very fast, there is a chance of falling down, there's a chance of topples down, so topple over. So in order to keep them stable, or their base is made very heavy, or their height kept very low as minimum as possible, in order to prevent the topple over or fall down. More example of this related to stability and position of center of mass. This is also mentioned in your textbook on uh, page number 103. Perched parrot. If you haven't, this is a type of toy. Perched parrot. If you look at 103, you will find perched parrot and the self-brightening toy. So these are also the example of stability and position of center of mass. Because perched parrot, when they design the perched parrot, what they do, or the toy parrots, so what they do, perched parrots made heavy at its tail. So if they made it heavy at its tail, so it remains in a stable position, or stable position. Then second example is self-brightening toys, heavy semi-spherical base. So in a self-brightening toys, if you look at 103 page, you will see this figure. Self-brightening twice, it will always come back to its original position if it is slightly tilt. If it has been slightly tilt, it comes back to its original position. The above twice returns to their original position when disturbed. When we return this, when we slightly disturb this, so these will come back to their original position. So I hope you understand these two topics, 4.8, which is the continuation of the state equilibrium, and then we discussed about stable equilibrium, neutral equilibrium, and unstable equilibrium. I repeat all this topic for you now. So what we discussed today, summary of these topics are today. So we discussed about topic 4.8 and 4.9. The pages on of the textbooks are 100, 101, and 102. If you open these pages, you will find this topic. Then states, we discussed about 4.8 topic, which is states of equilibrium. In my last lecture, we discussed about condition of equilibrium. So there are the three condition of equilibrium: first condition of equilibrium and second condition of equilibrium. But in this topic, we discussed about states of equilibrium. You can say this today's topic is the continuation of the last topic which we discussed last time. So there are the three states of equilibrium we discussed today. There are the three states of equilibrium that are stable equilibrium. Second one is unstable equilibrium, and third one is the neutral equilibrium. And our body will be in one of the three states. Either it will be in a stable equilibrium, or if either it is in unstable equilibrium and it is in a neutral equilibrium. Then what we did, we discussed first equilibrium, first state of equilibrium, which is called stable equilibrium. The definition of stable equilibrium is written here. Here you can find this definition on pink box of your textbook. A body is said to be in a stable equilibrium if after a slight tilt it returns to its previous position. Examples we discussed today. Consider a book lying on the table. This is a book lying on the table. Tilt the book. If we lift this book, or if we tilt this book, what will happen? It will come back to its original position. This type of equilibrium is called stable equilibrium. Then what is happening here in stable equilibrium? When a body is stable equilibrium, its center of gravity, we discussed about center of gravity in my previous lecture. Center of gravity is at the lowest position. When it is tilted, its center of gravity rises. So in this case, its center of gravity is rising because I am lifting the body, I am lifting the book. So gravity rising, return to its stable state by lowering its center of gravity. A body remains its stable state as long as the center of gravity acts through the base of the body. Look, if I tilt more, if I take it here or here, the body will not come back to its original position. But if I slightly tilt it, it will come back to this original position. So in the second example of the stable equilibrium is the block. Consider the block. When the block is tilted, its center of gravity yes, we will talk, Alicia. We will do the example 4.5 and 4.6 when we start our numerical. First of all, we will in my next lecture we will solve 4.5 and 4.6 examples, and then we will go further, move to MCQs and then problem of this chapter. Okay. Okay, then we discussed about unstable equilibrium. In unstable equilibrium, we take the example of the pencil, and then we discussed about about the neutral equilibrium, where the body takes its new position and its center of gravity remains at the same height. If the body takes its new position, the body will never come back to its original position. This type of equilibrium is called neutral equilibrium. Then we talked about stability and position of the center of mass. We discussed about a needle is made to balance to it at its tip. This is the needle which is designed on the principle of center of mass. So if you have any question, so please let me know.